Hello, and welcome to Film Reverie.
You said Hilm.
I said hello.
And welcome to Film Reverie.
Film. Film.
Film.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to Film Reverie. If you know the name of the podcast you'd like to hear, press 1 now.
Beep.
I will go out of tune at the end. I cannot decide what inflection to make. Yeah, I was just imagining a guy that talked like the movie phone guy, just talking normal. I have to take a huge crap.
I have to take a huge crap. I am on my way to get some food. I am hungry. I am hungry.
I am hungry.
How about you?
How about you?
We are
I
robots.
am hungry.
We are robots. Smile.
There is a man with a beard. I am now masturbating. What? That's why he washed his hands, because
You say shit like that and it's going in the show. I am
masturbating. I love boobies. This feels so good.
Oh. Okay, everybody, quiet on the set.
Film Reverie Podcast, Take 10.
And action. Hello, Film Reverie Podcast listeners. This is Michael Bekemeyer. And today I'm joined with nobody. I'm completely by myself.
I'm his inner voice.
I'm his inner voice.
I'm gonna tell him how shitty he's doing.
What's new?
I don't know.
No, you didn't get the joke. I was saying my inner voice is telling me how shitty I'm doing.
Oh,
And I
what's
said,
new?
"What's new?"
The inner voice doesn't get sarcasm.
The inner voice only says the truth.
I'm brutal truth.
I'm brutal truth. Could you please... I don't know whether to ask you to stop talking in the robot voice or to keep while talking in the robot voice.
Let me think about it. While you gulp on the big gulp.
Okay.
I'm gonna vapor.
So today it's just me and Brad. We're here with just ourselves. We think we're going to do this probably about every 5 or 6 episodes where we just sort of have an episode to ourselves to chat about the stuff we've picked up along the way.
Where we kind of download and we get rid of all the boring people and we just, I don't know.
Yeah, all those a-holes that tie up all of our showtime
Yeah.
while we're trying to speak.
We're more important than everybody else, so, like, screw them. We had a film at a film festival,
What?
and that's why we're, like, doing this show now, because we're going to talk about the Orlando Film Festival.
Your voice is funny, but watching your face as you do that is even better. Huh.
You
look like you
got to do a voice. You gotta make a face when you do a voice, because it, like, it's like everything.
Ew.
Ew.
Ow. Are you doing the Jimmy Fallon thing?
Yeah.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
We're funny because we think of other funny stuff that other people did.
And repeat it.
And repeat it.
Yeah, so last week, and by the way, this is coming out the day after Halloween, so we're sitting here the day of Halloween. This is our Ghost and Goblins episode.
Okay. Yeah. Which, I don't know if he's going to put it in this show, but I was arguing that Ghost and the Goblins, the guy would get hit and he would be in his underwear. So I said, so we're doing it in our underwear? And he said, no, what are you talking about?
My main question is, why are you so interested whether we're going to be in our underwear or not?
Because it's visually funny.
Not to me.
I'm imagining you and me in our underwear sitting so close.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
And one of us gets a chubby. And we're like, what should we do about that? Should we ignore it?
Well, if you'd like to email us, you can send
And the show's over.
The show's over. We are at Film Reverie Podcast at embarrassment.com.
It's awkwardsilence.net.
It's awkwardsilence.net.
Okay, so, I don't know, freaking Orlando Film Festival.
Yeah, the Orlando Film Festival. Basically, Impasse played at the film festival. It was the first one. It just so happened to be the Orlando Film Festival, which is where we hail from, or
yes,
however
Orlando.
you want to say it. Orlando.
I am sexy, no.
I'm sexy, no.
Yes, like I can't decide. Am I? No.
You didn't even get it out of your mouth before you disagree. I am sexy, no.
That's your inner voice.
That's your inner voice.
True.
No.
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Outer voice. And basically, we just spent the weekend, or half the week, really, hanging out with other filmmakers. I made a comment, maybe it was by Thursday or Friday afternoon, that I liked the movies, but I loved the filmmakers.
It was Friday.
Yeah, even if I didn't really care for someone's movie.
It was fun to...
Yeah, I liked, because, the idea is you get a movie made. That's an impressive feat, whether the movie's good or bad,
Yeah.
And so I sat around and talked with a lot of people. Conversations with filmmakers that whose movie I didn't even see. I just ran into them along the way, and everybody had their little filmmaker lanyard on, so you could just say, oh, you have a movie playing, and you just strike up conversation, trade cards.
Is it just me, or was it kind of like, it felt like high school in a way? Because we would all, like, at first, we were all awkward, but then we all, like, found our little cliques, and then we all stuck with each other.
Yes.
Which is
basically
weird.
You have your people that you meet in passing. They're like, oh, yeah, I know that guy. And then you have your circle of friends, your little Seinfeld group.
Yeah.
And they're always around. Yeah, yeah.
That was weird. Because I think we're so used to being alone. For people to like, hey, you're cool, can I hang with you? I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And we met a lot of people who we plan on having on the show, which was awesome, because I've got a stack of cards of movies that we saw, and of cards of filmmakers that I admire, just as people who get movies made. And I'm not saying I didn't like a lot of movies. There weren't very many movies that I just saw and it was like, oh my God, what were they thinking?
Yeah, it was almost like there wasn't a middle ground. They were either great or terrible. Well, there was some middle ground, but not much. There was like a couple. But, it was just like, I either wanted to shoot myself in the head, or I was like, oh my God, how come we haven't made something this good yet?
I just remember Brad sitting there. When is this over? When is this over?
My ADD was so bad.
I was like, oh my God, Brad, the filmmaker is sitting right behind us. Could you please contain yourself? Your misery.
I have sometimes I don't have a filter.
Sometimes. When was the last time you actually had a filter? When was the last time you actually had a filter? When was the last time you thought something and didn't say it?
All the time when I'm at home with my roommates, because they hate me and I have to pretend that I don't exist. Don't mind me. I'm just in living hell. Go about your business. I don't exist. See, the truth is funny.
Brad.
It hurts, but you can laugh.
And Brad, you want them to change? If there's two against one, maybe you're the wrong one.
Exactly. See, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Even if it was one against one, I don't have high enough self-esteem to just give up immediately. Like, if I get into an accident and it's someone else's fault, I just immediately, just whatever, just give me the ticket.
Just give me the ticket. Do you try to show
I kill my car. I don't care. I just immediately go defeatist.
You don't try to show him your boobs?
I've got a decent pair of boobs, but they're hairy. There's not good to show.
Okay, we're taking votes. I'm gonna act
hashtag hairy boob. It's gonna trend on Twitter.
Hashtag. I'm gonna pretend like we're a live show. At the end of the episode, we're gonna take your votes on what is Brad's new Twitter name: Hairy Boobs
or
Balding Ewok. I'm the Balding Ewok.
It's not hairy boob. It's got to be Balding Ewok.
Balding Ewok is awesome. Yeah.
What? I felt you staring.
So the main thing that I came away with, and we knew this by Thursday or Friday of the festival, is the thing that we noticed about a lot of movies, even the really good ones, is
plural.
That you have to be so. You don't have any eye candy. You don't have a lot of eye candy in your movie. It's very low budget. It's just you and your friends and a camera and everything. And the thing is, your short film is too long.
Oh my God, that had to be the biggest issue that we had.
Yeah,
was it was too long. Like there were people saying things that weren't enhancing the story or developing the character, and it was redundant information or just useless. Like it seemed like they were trying to be funny or say something witty, but it was like, is what you felt like. But no, most of the movies that I had issues with, I would say at the end, if they cut half of it out, I think it would be decent. Yeah,
that 5-minute movie was too long. If you cut half of it out, 2.5 minutes, that would have really smoothly gone. Yeah,
or like that one movie where there was something about a treasure, and then there was there was a story about back in the day or in the past, and the story was the most interesting thing, and then all the stuff with the characters in present day was like, just get rid of that, because the guy that was doing the stuff in the past was way more interesting than the stuff with the
that guy in that movie was such a good actor.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he had such weight and presence that you really
gravitas.
What an excellent word, Brad.
What an excellent word.
At gravitas.
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 Or gravitas. They both work.
They both work. They both work. I don't know. Shrug. So funny. No, but he was such a good actor that you really he was so good that you wanted more of him, but less of the other stuff. And it wasn't So here's the thing. We all know, and it's a thing. I'm not saying my movie was the perfect length either. I don't know. I'm watching it thinking, is my movie too long also? And it's only like 10 or 11. It's only like 11 minutes it's 10 minutes without credits. The credits add another 2 minutes to it. And my movie feels well-paced to me because I made it. But I'm watching other people's movies whose movies probably feel well-paced to them because they made it. You know what I mean?
But they weren't.
Oh, Brad, thank you for pulling your punches.
Well, I mean, I'm not being specific, so no one's feelings will get hurt. Unless you know who you are.
You know who you are, and you know what you did. Shame.
I'm scrubbing my index finger on the top of my other index finger. Shame. Nerd shame.
Nerd shame. Shun. Unshun. That's from The Office. Anyway.
Shun, unshun.
So ultimately, the thing is, you have to really be, and I go into all my projects thinking this way, but sometimes you do it successfully and sometimes you don't. The trick is to really ask yourself, scene by scene, is this moving the story forward? Or is this other thing that's in here really exposition that is just totally just vomiting information to the audience, and then you have that there so that it can explain stuff.
I didn't tell her to lie in the exposition. I told her to lie there in that position.
You can eat if you want to. It's like just it's like you're trying to be quiet. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be quiet. Can you hear that?
In the movie theater.
I can't get it open.
No, I can't get it out. My hand's stuck.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
that scene, you have to think about every scene, and it becomes so much more evident when you're watching a bunch of short films. Like if we had seen one short film that might have been a little too long, it might not have been so obvious. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it was good. It had some good spots, but it slowed down a little bit, just like a lot of movies do. A lot of movies have ups and downs, but we saw so many that were just a little too slow in parts. Not even too long, just a little slow. Like I saw one that was so good, and then it was like a peaks and valleys. It got so good, and then it slowed down, and then it got so good again, and then slowed down, and then got so good and slowed down, and then got really good and ended. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like, the story needs those things, but you got to figure out a way to combine them so that you don't have so many ups and downs. You can, if you just wanted to slow down just a little bit to make a point over here, and then you got to ramp up for an ending.
Like a roller coaster.
Right, exactly. Like any exciting, like action adventure movies. Yeah. They are kind of plastic and fake and CGI and special effects and all that stuff. But they have a point a lot of times, and it's a little more extreme in their example, but they do. They grab you in the very, or they try to. They grab you. The very good ones, like Die Hard or something like that,
right?
Grabs you in the very beginning, and it's a slow burn all the way up to the end. It doesn't ever sink down.
Yeah, that's why I think of storytelling like a roller coaster.
Yeah,
because,
me too.
I mean, even music. Like when I go to make music, I'm like, okay, here's the, start off with the, the dip's coming, so there's a little excitement here at the beginning, but then there's this crawl up, and then there's this exciting thing, and then you have an exciting ending. You got to have your peaks and valleys, because otherwise you'll like taper off. If you keep it so exciting for too long, then it's like, okay,
you become numb.
You become numb to it. So you got to like.
Drama is the same way. It's just not. There's no explosions.
Oh yeah, you can't be too intense for too long, because then you're like, I can't cry anymore.
Yeah, and then comedy is the same thing. You just gotta have your, but it's just not explosions. It's something else. Mm-hmm. But these other movies, that if they were 20 minutes instead of 30, or 15 minutes instead of 20, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just trim a little bit out of each scene so that it's tight. You want it to be tight. And I don't say this from the perspective that my movie was perfect. I'm saying this as an observer critiquing a bunch of movies in a very short period of time. I just feel like if that's probably a major problem of short films. Short films are supposed to be short, and I don't mean they have to be 1 minute or anything, but they have to be short. And if you're going to have a 30 or 45 minute short film, what's like? Is it a feature? It must want to be a feature, like 8 to 30 minutes. I saw one 30-minute short film that I thought was good from beginning to end. It was so good, and it was at the children's, not the children's, but it was at a screening called Not Just for Kids, and it was a movie called The Stable Boy. And I cannot remember The Stable Boy. Oh, and I can't remember the filmmaker's name right now. But if you want to look up a short film called The Stable Boy, I talked to him. He's gonna be on our show. I wish I could remember his name. He's actually L.A. and New Smyrna. He's like here and there. Cool. And his movie was good from beginning to end. It kept the same tone from beginning to end. It didn't get slow or dip down. It stayed the same. So at the 29-minute mark, when it was finally finished, you didn't feel like you'd been drugged through a 30-minute thing just for a few good scenes.
And that's the thing that I think we're both talking about is, like, there were short films that, were long, but I didn't care because the story was so good and the characters were good. It was well done and well paced and everything it should be, so I was just enjoying it. But then the other ones where there was just too many things wrong that were taking you out of the movie and making you realize I'm sitting here in the theater and I'm bored now. I wish I could change the channel, but I can't. So I'll leave. But I know I was a bit rude, but at the same time, I have a lot of issues.
Brad, when is your speech over?
I have issues.
When is your speech over, Brad?
Now. The end.
The end. You know what else I realized is...
Nobody had the end at the end of their films. No, go ahead.
No, that's not what I didn't
We don't
notice
do that anymore.
I just realized that I didn't press record.
It's recording right now.
Just kidding. You should have seen the look on your face. I got you, bitch.
What do you mean?
You were like...
I knew we were recording, and then I looked down and we were recording, so I was like...
Oh, Brad's the knower.
Maybe for a nanosecond, but that's not... Come on.
You're not the knower of all things.
Well, I got you, because I lied. I made up a fabrication and made you think something that wasn't true. Therefore, I win the game that I made up just now.
Why don't you crinkle that package into the microphone just a little bit more?
Oh, I dropped something. Oh,
and then when you get that open, I bet you're going to crunch that effing cracker.
Effing cracker. Crunching in my mouth.
At effing cracker. That's your third one.
I'm a cracker. That's right. I'm the effing cracker.
Hairy boobs. At hairy boobs. At Balding Ewok. At crunching cracker.
Effing. I thought it was effing cracker.
Effing cracker. Yeah. I still like Balding Ewok.
I'm going with Balding Ewok. At the end of this episode, I will get on Twitter and become the Balding Ewok.
You have transformed, my friend, and reached enlightenment. You are Balding Ewok.
Yes.
Yes.
The wiser I become, the more I lose my hair.
And the more Ewok-y you are.
Which is unattractive to women. I will never have sex. You look cute like an Ewok, but then you're balding. You've got hair in places you shouldn't, and you don't where you do. What? You don't where you should, and you shouldn't where you should. I don't get it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It seems like I'm laughing at what you're saying, but I'm still laughing at the word Ewok-y.
Ewokian.
Ewokian. Ewokian Phoenix. You are Ewokian Phoenix.
I am Ewokian. What is that, number 4 or 5 now?
Ewokian Phoenix.
Ewokian Phoenix.
Okay.
Yes, that is my new name.
That's my new name.
I'm Ewokian Phoenix.
Instead of big boned, you're brittle boned? I'm brittle boned.
I'm brittle boned. Hey, you guys. What?
What?
I'm gonna eat my cookie. It is so good.
You know what else? We also, and we talked about this.
I love the snacky cakes.
We met a lot of people who would be awesome to be around, work with or not work with or anything like that. A lot of the volunteers for the film festival were the Valencia College film students, and they were so fun to talk to because they just like totally are. They're like all passion. They just love movies, movie making, and we sat at least 2 nights in a row. We sat and talked with. They became more of our friends than some of the filmmakers that we've been talking to.
It was so weird.
And it just confirmed with me that I would much rather, again, it just like put one more notch in the pros column, where I'd much rather work with people whose attitude was awesome. Yeah. And maybe don't know as much as the other people, but they're
open-minded and passionate at the same time. Yeah. So they're not like some of the other people we were just talking about, where their ego is kind of taking control and they're pretentious or whatever, or they're above everyone else. It was more of a, hey, we all have great ideas, let's share them and talk about it.
And I maybe ran into 2 or 3 filmmakers that were like that. I'm not saying that like all of them were pretentious.
Like the guy who did the Batman, was it Legends of
the Night?
Dude. Of the Night.
Yes.
That was freaking awesome.
Yeah. That guy, we were sitting there like a block away from the festival. Yeah. Having like Pita Pit. And the dude who makes Legend of the Night, Legend of the Night, right. That is it. Saw my Batman shirt and sat down and started talking. Hey, it's a great shirt, and we started talking to him and realized he's the guy that made the Legends of the Night documentary, which is the Batman documentary. That, by the way, I'm so glad I skipped all the other movies that I said that I wanted to go see to go see it, because it was glorious. And the guy who made it was just such
even more awesome. than the movie.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who made a movie almost completely by himself. He had some help on some days. Him and a Canon T3i DSLR. It's not like he had, or was it a T2i? Anyway, it's one of the Canon Rebel.
Maybe T2i.
Anyway, it's one of the Canon cameras and some really nice lenses. And he shot that stuff all by himself and got like a great doc.
Yeah. He was the coolest guy because even like he was, there was one point after the movie that he was getting ready to leave. We had talked to him a little bit. And some, just random filmmaker guy wanted to, started talking to him and wanted to ask him some questions, and he turned right back around. They sat down, and he spent another 2 hours talking with him.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of snuck in on the side because I was like, well, might as well listen to everything he's talking about.
Lurking in the shadows.
Because they were in the night, shadows of the night. Brad Kingston is the smallest shadow.
That movie, Legends of the Night, if you get a chance, and he said he'd come on the podcast, so we're going to get an interview with him next week or two.
He's like us, but cooler because he's done.
Well, he's definitely cooler because his movie's about Batman. But that movie is so shamelessly optimistic and hopeful and like positive and upbeat. You can't walk out of there. At least I had a hard time watching the opening credits of the movie without going, we are Batman. You know what I mean? It's like
it was great from the first opening shots. So you were like, okay, this is going to be good.
And it's another one that you sort of thought, a Batman documentary? Like, how's this going to go? It's like an hour and a half of what? But it never lost its pace. It never lost its tone. It kept pushing towards the end, and it just kept going and going and going.
Yeah, and by the way, that's what we were talking about before. That was a feature-length film, and never once did I think about whether I was bored or wanting to leave. Yeah. It was just that good.
And some of the artwork in the thing that was all like fan art of Batman and everything was incredible looking.
Yeah, and he got all original art because, he was doing it like guerrilla low-budget style and not... He didn't have the money to pay for, the art. So he got local artists or people from comic conventions.
Didn't he say he found a lot of it on DeviantArt?
DeviantArt, which was cool because I was like, I was using DeviantArt on the podcast years ago. DeviantArt is cool. We did a DeviantArt of the week on our show, Anime America. Plug.
You're not allowed to mention other shows on our show.
I have betrayed the podcast. Poop? What?
Poop?
No, what is the kind of like a thing where you write all the stuff down? Contract of...
The contract?
No, like the thing that our country is built on. What is that called? Constitution.
America?
You have broken the podcast code.
The podcast code. Yippee-ki-yay.
It's like the bro code.
But so he's going to be on our show soon. He said, well, at least he said he would be able to come on. We're going to try to work it out so that we can podcast around the time his show comes out. His movie comes out on DVD, Blu-ray. The
one other thing I think we have to talk about is the other movie that I at first thought that I was going to hate, the Almost... It's not Almost
Just
Famous.
About Famous.
Just About Famous.
That was another great documentary.
It was about celebrity impersonators.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I don't like these people. It's going to be lame. Because I was just seeing in my head a bunch of fake people or people pretending to be something.
Yeah, a bunch of weird carnies that smell like cabbage.
Maybe I had this weird carny thing in my head. I don't know about the cabbage. But you got the gist of what I had in my head.
Yeah.
But I sat down because you were in there and my feet were killing me. And I didn't want to walk anymore.
So you decided to stay there and got lucky with a good documentary.
I thought I'd give it 5 minutes before I did my ADD thing. And but man, it was so compelling.
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't shot so exceptionally great like the Legend of the Night.
Yeah.
But the characters, those people, were very entertaining because you weren't watching. It wasn't all about the fake part of what they do. It was all about their real lives and how they ended up there. And
The brilliance of that documentary is the fact that you have to sit back and think, anyone who's a professional celebrity impersonator has got to be an interesting character.
Yeah, that's what was
great.
great.
I'm so surprised no one's done.
They were so funny. Yeah. That, by the way, that's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like,
How
man,
did nobody...
there were some camera shots and things that I was like, man, Mike and I could have ran out and shot this and probably done a better job. We could have, but it was one of those things where it was a great idea that I didn't consider a great idea until I saw it on film, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
if I had seen what they saw, I would have been making this documentary. Yeah. But the thing is that they made it, and it was great. And it's not that it's the story or whatever. It's just that I guess the great things about documentaries is when you find lightning in a bottle, and that was kind of like lightning in a bottle. Yeah. They just stumbled onto great characters and just put it on film, and then gave it a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, and it was really funny.
Oh my God,
really funny,
and we got to
funnier than most of the comedies I saw.
Yeah,
in the comedies, comedy short films.
You wouldn't believe how funny some of these people are. Like, it's so hard to make me laugh, but that George Bush guy. Everything that came out of his mouth, I was like, ha ha, like my stupid dorky laugh when I'm really something gets my funny bone, And then people were looking at me thinking I had Tourette's or something.
But so that's Legends of the Night and Just About Famous, two totally unique documentaries that we saw, and that were I really enjoyed both of them.
I believe that at least Legends of the Night is coming to Netflix.
Yeah,
he talked about that.
He said it's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD first. I think he said November 18th. Anyway, we're gonna try to get him on the show. He said yes, but we have yet to set up a date for it. Anyway, but yeah, that goes so it goes back to like that guy is totally his attitude. The guy who made Legends of the Night, his attitude and his energy is totally infectious. Like when somebody starts laughing and you can't help but laugh because their laugh is so contagious that they're laughing at something you don't even know what they're laughing at, but you can't stop laughing because their laugh is so pure. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There's like an energy to the laugh, but he had this infectious energy that he was just he would talk about his cause or his passion, and then you would just be like, yes, I believe too.
Yeah, that guy better not ever start a cult, the Batman cult.
Oh,
because
God.
Seriously, he'll have some serious followers.
He could talk anybody into anything, I think.
And so that was awesome. I loved that. And there were a couple of feature films that I saw that I really liked, too. A lot of them were local filmmakers, too. I was glad to realize some of them were local. And like I said, there's a long list of people we want to have on the show sometime soon.
A lot of great, interesting people. So... What?
No, what were you about to say?
I have no idea. I was going to ask you.
Well, what I wanted to talk about is did we finish talking about working with people that?
Oh, you mean the Valencia crew?
Well, not even just the Valencia crew, but them. They're the ones that really made it stick out in my mind.
Yeah, they were so cool. Like we were totally like, oh, we do podcasts too. Can you be on a podcast? I was like, you do the show and I'll be on it. And I was like, we were like totally vibing, like. Wanting to we were talking about making films and stuff and working together, and we just met.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things. That was what was great about, we were talking about meeting the guy that did Legends of the Night and those people. It was like, we didn't even have to work at being producers or whatever or promoting ourselves because we could just be there, just be somewhere, and people would come and start talking to us. And even me, because I'm kind of introverted. But, like, if, somebody talks to me or says hi or something, I'm not, unless I have a reason to go up and talk to somebody, I'm just going to stick to myself. But, it would just be like, people would just come up and say, hey, you look like a cool guy. I'm going to start talking to you. Oh, yeah, well, I do a show. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I did this film. Oh, that was a great film. Oh, I'm the director. It was just like all of a sudden you're talking to the guy who directed the thing that you really liked. Yeah. And you were just sitting there. That's what was great about it.
What I love about film festivals is that it makes it's real easy to sit there and watch a movie, to go see, like, what's a movie that's out?
A movie?
Just any movie.
What about John Wick?
John Wick. You say you go see John Wick, and you see that movie, which we haven't seen yet, and you think, I love that movie. I really enjoyed that movie. I think it was awesome. And it's so easy for you to put the person who made that movie up on the, like, out of reach pedestal, and you're like,
right.
Look, they did this amazing thing. Or
I
like,
will never be able to do that kind of thing, let alone even talk to this person.
Yeah. Right. Like, or The Matrix, or Scorsese, or Paul Thomas Anderson, which is my favorite director right now.
They become idols.
They
almost.
become way above out of your reach. But then when you make a movie and you think, oh, it's not Scorsese, or it's not this, but it's what I could do with what I had. You see a movie like that and you think, this is out of my reach.
Yep.
But then you're around all the other filmmakers who are doing the same thing, and some of them are really good movies, and you're sitting there going, and they're just like me, because we're talking about having the same concerns. Though they made their movie the same way, with like a DSLR and a small Kickstarter, and it's like they made something great with what they had, and you think, these people are just like me.
Right.
And it makes it so much more possible in your mind psychologically to achieve the goal.
It leveled the playing field.
Definitely.
Because then you could even ask them questions that you never thought you could ask, like, how can you afford to go around and promote your film in these film festivals?
Yeah.
Which you think might be a rude question, but then some, like one guy I asked was like, I can't. Like, oh, well, glad to see you. I'm broke. I've got 2 mortgages on my home. Why did I ask him that?
So, but it was good. Like, every time I go to a festival and actually get to talk with the filmmakers, it's very
empowering.
It just makes it way more possible, like, in your mind, you know what I mean? It's like psychologically, and it's not like you should need that. You shouldn't need to see somebody else doing it for you to say, oh, I can do that too. But it's so much easier when you feel like there's a whole, like, community, or like an energy, like an indie spirit.
I don't know, it's almost like competition and inspiration and empowerment all at the same time, because even I was like empowered and inspired to, like, okay, that's it. I am doing a movie, and I have done waiting around. And then, I mean, even the night after the final night, I just started writing this movie in my head, and all of a sudden it's this really cool thing that I have to do now. Yeah.
And it's an idea you've had for a really long time. You just hadn't yet to talk yourself into doing it. Yeah.
I guess I didn't think I was worthy.
I don't think you know this yet, but I'm directing that.
It doesn't matter to me. I just want to get it written first and then get it made. And I'm going to shadow direct. I'm going to be controlling, and I'm going to, because I'm going to act in it. Yeah. I'm going to, act it out the way I see fit.
And Brad,
and then I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to.
Do you really? You're going to act in it? Do you really think people want to see that?
Yes, they do. Because people laugh at me all the time.
Brad, they're laughing at you.
I said at.
I know, but that's not the good at. It's not like, hey, Robin Williams is funny. I'm laughing at him.
If they enjoy it and then eventually pay for it.
You don't care if they're laughing at you or with you?
Don't care.
Don't care.
It's entertainment.
Don't care.
Don't care. I cannot control my tongue laws.
So, yeah, that's it. It's like you come back. It's like, I imagine it's like what a lot of people feel when they go to church on Sunday after a hard week. You're around people that make you feel good.
I don't even want to get into that.
You know what
it was like for me growing up.
Okay.
I have issues.
Now I really want to know.
Moving on.
Do tell, Bradley.
Moving on.
The Balding Ewok is about to speak.
A preacher touched me in a naughty spot. No.
Please don't make fun.
Don't make religious or political jokes, because you will cut half of our 30 people in our audience out.
Religious or political jokes are fine. Don't make he touched my pee-pee jokes.
He touched my pee-pee.
Because they're not funny. I don't know if you could make child molestation in any way funny.
Anything can be funny. No.
Do you see what just happened to our show?
It deflated. We are conducting an emergency test of the stupidity and offensive broadcasting system.
So that's it. That's the film festival. I totally enjoyed myself. I loved it. I had fun. I was glad you were able to be there with me, so I can have like a buddy to be around
Yes.
Yeah, to be around and meet people and talk to people, and and those Valencia college students, man, it's been a long time.
They're going to be so much fun.
It's been a long time since I've seen you be sort of like in your element outside of hanging out with me.
Like I became a teacher again.
They were gathered around you like you were telling old tales from the village.
Back in the day.
And they were like, tell us more, Mr. Bradley.
You mean you can learn about empowerment while doing what you love in life? Yes.
This is the most incredible shit.
Oh, God, it was weird. I'm not even going to go into that because it was so spiritual.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see you. It was good to see you in that, but it was also just good to be around it.
I went from, like, a disabled, depressed guy that couldn't get out of his house or do anything to, like, 2 days straight for, like, 16 hours a day, just walking around and just being, like, and then after that I was, like, fixed.
I mean, you still complained a lot, mind you.
Of course.
I mean, that's just part of your
I wasn't
gig.
Cured. You can get fixed but not cured.
Just walking around for 15 hours.
You can fix a broken leg but not cure what broke it.
I'm out for 15 hours, but I'm definitely going to point it out. It's been 15 hours. It's been 15 hours.
You complained more than me.
No, I didn't. I was happy to be there. So that's the film festival. If you get a chance to make a trip to a film festival and not just go for one night or to see one thing, if you get a chance as a filmmaker to go hang out with other filmmakers,
do it.
It'll do you so much good psychologically. Like,
even just being there, even if you go and you don't know what you're going for or what you're going to do, just being there is amazing. It opens you up to opportunities that you would not have been available for. Yeah.
And just, it's like having a buddy system. Like the dog keeps opening the door and Brad is silently closing the door, mouthing silently making the face of total rage. It's like road rage. You're driving down the road and you look across in the next lane and there's a guy with his windows up screaming. You can't hear what he's saying, but you see his face. And that's what Leap. So, but what I'm saying is, if you get a chance to go hang out with filmmakers, it really is like, it's awesome. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. So it was fun. It's always fun every time I get to go to a festival. So before we go, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. There's a couple of podcasts I've been listening to that are awesome. One of them is this podcast called Film Reverie. I've been listening to that on a weekly basis.
It's funny.
No.
And educational.
One in particular. I have a lot of new podcasts in my feed. As we've been putting out episodes, other filmmaking podcasts have like found us and followed us and everything on Twitter. So I've found out about them just through sort of Twitter, word of mouth. One of them in particular is a podcast called How Is This Movie? Dana, that's his name, makes a show called How Is This Movie? And it's basically film history. And I devoured his entire podcast in about a week. I just listened and listened and listened. He's got like 37, 38, 39, 40 episodes. And he's gone through and he did the rise and demise of the video store. Do people really care about Batman? He went and did the Blacklist episode talking about like the Hollywood blacklist of I think the 50s. and about how people got,
What's
communists
his name?
and all that stuff.
That guy that was like calling everybody, yeah, that was so great.
Right. It was tied in with McCarthyism.
McCarthy.
Yeah. Star Wars Part 1, Star Wars Part 2. He did one on Back to the Future. He did an episode on Top Gun.
Dude, by the way, I totally want to do an episode on mythic structure. The storytelling. Mythic
Can
structure.
I go back to talking about this guy's podcast?
Here's Journey. Here's Journey is awesome.
Journey. Here's Journey is awesome.
Go ahead.
Here's Journey is awesome. Here's Journey is awesome.com. And he did an episode on Jaws, Terminator, franchise, Superman, Jurassic Park. Anyway, he's got a bunch of really great episodes, and they're all like 30 to 40 minutes long. And he basically says, back in the day, there was a guy named Steven Spielberg, and there's this movie. The guy wrote the book Jaws.
Movie Jaws.
And then they wanted to figure out, how to turn it into a movie, so it got turned into a movie. And then they hired Steven Spielberg, and then the rest. And then he goes through the history beat by beat. It's so like easily consumable, but it's like candy, sort of like you eat it and you can't stop eating it, because he does such a thorough job of explaining the details of what happened. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like a making of.
It's kind of like Googling the movie and then getting like an audio version of it.
Yeah, what it is it's like not having to Google the movie, because this guy's done it all already, and it's so easy. It's so fun to listen to, and he's an obvious fan of the movies that he's doing, so he's very enthusiastic about it. So that's called How Is This Movie?
This is one that said dead people.
He did an M. Night Shyamalan episode.
You could talk about how he had like a storytelling gimmick that worked for the first couple movies, and then it just
he
terrible.
Got too busy. Shyamalan got way too concerned with topping himself. Yeah, he did. The Shyamalan. I thought so. He's got a M. Night.
Shame on Shyamalan.
And basically the thing is, Shyamalan kept trying to top himself. And the thing is, you have a really good twist on something, and you can't keep topping yourself and making it work more and more and more and bigger and bigger and bigger every time.
Yeah, I think he let, what do you call it, the Hollywood system pressure him into, more and more money. Hey, do it like this, do it like that, do it like your last movie. Instead of just being a filmmaker and saying, okay, that's what I did the last movie, now what do I want to do to the next one?
Yeah. And so, but the thing is, you will know...
I want to make it so that trees are killing people. Yeah. With hair.
With hair. We're running from
Brilliant. We'll put Mark Wahlberg in it.
And I could tell that movie was going to have trouble when they started marketing the fact that it was rated R. This is rated R. It's a real, it's my first rated R movie. I was like, seriously, that's what we're clinging to? They were running from the wind in that movie.
The wind is everywhere. We can't see it. It's invisible.
So I don't normally go into a critique thing, because I don't really consider myself a critic. I'm a bad critic.
Oh, I'm excellent critic.
You're critical. I don't know if you're a critic, but I'm not a very good critic, because what I want to like the movie. You know what I mean? So I'm a really easy audience. If someone's gonna make a movie worth liking, I'm going to try real hard to like it, Yes. So I'm bad. I'm
a good critic, because I'm rooting for the movie until they, if it's a good movie, as far as they told a great story or something, if there's something redeemable, if there are redeemable qualities, then I'm going to be like that. I'm going to root for it. I'm going to, even though I might have some negative things to say, I'll say it in a positive way, or, I won't tear it apart. But if it's terrible, I'm going to just tell you why it's terrible,
Yeah, normally within the first 5 minutes.
Yes. I know who did it. Oh, that person's going to die. Didn't we see a movie where I said that like 15 minutes in? Or no, like 25 minutes in, the kid was like, if you make it out, tell my parents about me. And he gave him a picture, and I was like, that dude is so going to die.
That dude is so going to die.
And then it was like all the way up until the last, we were like 5 minutes away from the ending. And then I got up and said, oh, this is terrible. And then he died, like right then.
That he died.
And then before I even walked out, I was like, told you. Because I was sweating it there. I was thinking... maybe I was wrong. But I knew it!
Oh. Oh, come on.
It was, so many movies are written based off of tropes and cliches, and, it's like you've seen the trope so many times.
You're a trope cliche.
I'm a Harry trope.
I'm a Harry trope. At Harry trope.
Oh, Harry trope. But I think it's spelled like troop, so they'll think, well, he's a Harry troop? Or Harry toupee.
I don't know.
It's a Harry toupee.
So here's what I
Balding toupee.
Here's what I have to say. First of all, we also want to give another shout out to somebody who gave us a 5-star review on iTunes, and that person is, I want to make sure I get their Twitter name right. We've been talking back and forth.
By the way, if you only get one review on iTunes, you want it to be 5 stars.
Yes. So basically, but what we've been meaning to mention in our recent episodes is, please, if you like our show, could you please go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review? I hate asking for 5-star reviews, but that's one of the main ways your show will rise up in more prominently in the iTunes store, so people can see it a lot easier.
Yeah, and if you just want to complain about something, don't do it on iTunes and give us 1 or 0 stars. Go on Twitter or send us an email.
Yeah, send us an email. We'd gladly talk to you about it.
Yeah, you do it the other way. It's permanent forever. I did one podcast years ago where...
It's permanent forever.
Yeah. I did one podcast years ago where somebody just... Oh, God, it was so rude.
Oh, God.
They basically went and did a 1-star review and then said, I hate the girl in the podcast. And there were no girls in the podcast. He was talking about me. So don't do that, because it's there forever.
He was talking about me.
That annoying little girl is the worst part of the show. Period. 1 star. Can you? I didn't want to do a podcast ever again after that. 1 review. So don't do it.
I hate the girl in the show. It's fucking dumb.
Oh, man.
That's the funniest shit I've heard all day.
The show totally derailed. Okay, that has to go in the movie.
Dude.
That has to go in my movie now.
Did you ever record another show? I hate the girl.
Actually, 1 or 2 episodes after that, I killed the show because it wasn't that good.
I hate the girl in the show. There was no
I hate me too. I quit.
Oh, man, that was good. That was good shit right there. That was good. I'm crying right now. Oh.
I was just helping you make your point.
Oh, man. Anyway, so please head over to that. How do we get the show back on track after 5 minutes of me laughing? If you want to go to iTunes and please give us a 5-star review, you can give us any kind of review you want to. We'll gladly take them all, even the 1-star ones, because that just means, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Okay.
But we appreciate the people who are starting to catch on to the show and listen to the show and have commented on how much fun it is to listen to and how much they enjoy the show. And we really appreciate that, because a lot of times we spend hours sitting in front of these microphones going, does anyone give a shit?
Are we the only ones laughing?
Are we the only ones that care? And we've had some really great guests. And actually, this is the 10th episode, man. We're at episode 10 right now. Take 10.
We've done it.
And we've consistently released on a weekly basis, which is, a good thing to do for a show. And
that's a commitment.
It wasn't something that we started and just kind of every couple of weeks, we should do another one of those. And I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you and making ourselves laugh and talking to some smart filmmakers.
That is what's been so great about it.
Like the films, love the filmmakers.
That's cool.
That's a new thing. And we're made for people.
So if you
want to tweet us We are at Film Reverie. And Brad, what is your Twitter name?
Apparently, I'm being forced on Twitter. So I'm going to be Hairless Ewok? Yes?
Balding Ewok.
Oh, Balding.
Come on, man.
Balding. Yeah, no, Balding is funny. But say Hairless.
Balding Ewok. And
Yes.
I already checked before we started recording.
Right.
Unless someone's come in here in the last hour and gotten Balding Ewok on Twitter, it's available. You should go get
So
it.
I'm doing it after the show. So by the time you hear this, I will be Balding Ewok.
Reaching enlightenment. 140 characters at a time.
Right.
Right. But we are at Film Reverie, 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 on Twitter. And I mean, if you want to follow me on Twitter too, I'm Bekemeyer, Bekemeyer. I'm locked. I have my profile locked because of high school students that I teach.
So they have to request, and then you have to say, okay.
Yeah. I love my students, but I can't have them follow me on Twitter I keep telling them not until you graduate. Not until you graduate. So that's actually why I went ahead and started a second Twitter feed at Film Reverie, because I wanted to be able to have a thing for the show that wasn't blocked, And Film Reverie, we talk almost strictly about movies and filmmaking and the podcast that we're working on. My personal stuff, I talk about all that same stuff and just regular Twitter too. And I don't know what Brad's going to talk about.
Probably how depressed I am every day.
Oh, the Balding Ewok.
Thought about committing suicide. Wondered if anyone wanted to talk me out of it.
If you would like to send us an email, it's filmreveriepodcast@gmail.com. And please, like I said, send us emails. I love hearing from people. It's good. And the people I've heard from in the past, like I've gone back and forth with. I had conversations with them, and one of them was actually came to see Impasse at the film festival.
Yes,
the first person who ever listened to us send us an email saying that hey, they loved our show. They're in Tampa. Mikey G, he was there. He saw Impasse. Yeah,
Mikey G sounded familiar for a second, but then
he's Mikey G from Tampa.
Okay.
Come on, we've talked about him before.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah. And if you want to give us a voicemail, you can call us at 321-804-3271. Feel free to give us a call, ask a question.
Has anyone done that yet? Because they have?
Yeah. I got a voicemail from somebody, but it was a wrong number.
Oh, yes. That was a great punchline. I couldn't have thought of a better one.
No, I mean, I wasn't.
It's the wrong number. So we'll be sad until one of you gets off your ass and sends us a voicemail. Get off your ass!
But if it's between a 5-star review on iTunes and a voicemail,
5-star.
Go with the review on iTunes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, number one, just our egos often just need a little pat on the back.
Yeah. Technically, you don't have to get off your ass to do either one of those because you can do it on your phone now.
Yeah, you're probably listening to your phone. You're probably fondling your phone right now instead while listening to this.
Yes.
Yeah, you're probably on Twitter
or you could be fondling your ass
while trying to listen to us.
Yes.
And we're droning on in the background. In fact, you probably haven't heard anything we've said for the past 30 seconds because you're reading all your @replies on Twitter.
Yes.
Am I wrong? Oh, you can't hear me because you're tweeting.
The end.
The end.
Just abruptly.
Okay, so since you're not listening, we're going to go now.
The end.
The end.
Period. End of sentence.
We're going to go now. I'm waiting for you to... I'm waiting for you...
Press the stop button.
I'm waiting for you to start listening again, and then I'm going to... We're gone. Go. Bye.
We've left.
Until next time.
This is Bradley Kingston.
And Michael Bekemeyer.
And we'll be seeing you on the flip side. I don't know. High five.
Are we high-fiving? That was the most awkward high five ever. You held your hand up, and I'm like, are we high-fiving now?
I don't know. It's so awkward. We have to follow through.
Anyway, okay, thank you very much. We will see you again soon. And cut.
Stop it! Press stop! Do it now!
If you're still listening, we know you're a huge fan. Or you've fallen asleep. Anyway, okay, talk to you soon.
Bye. Again.
Right, bye. Film Reverie is a production of Broken Sunset Films, LLC. It was created and is produced under a Creative Commons license by Michael Bekemeyer and Bradley Kingston. Copyright Broken Sunset Films, LLC, 2014.